Morning, guys. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm not alive or awake yet. It's October 15th, 2024. The Weaver Agency of Roseman, California. Still waking up. And I'm catching up on the politics as I should have and scratching my head on all of this. Mad scramble and people's observations on how much our world hasn't changed much in our viewpoints. I was watching Morning Joe on MSNBC this morning. He's conservative. I like watching him from time to time just to see what the hell is going on. But I'm also reminded just how badly we're screwing things up. I don't have a hope of optimism. I should have a long time ago, but it seems like election cycle after election cycle is becoming more and more of a depressional situation here. And part of it resolves in some of my own mental health issues, but when it comes down for politics right now, I'm not hopeful enough. I don't know when to start it. I don't know when to start it, but it's sinking a bit. Which candidate is going to be helpful to us and which one's going to be giving us more and more grief? And then hearing the polls and opinions about how our country has gotten to a point where we're so damn disillusioned we can't trust anything anymore. Doesn't matter which particular generation, the younger generation who's dependent upon social media for everything. My older generation, what they call the Gen Xers, millennials, younger than me, born after 2000, they're still trying to have a hard time figuring things out. But the Gen Xers and the previous ones got disillusioned with a lot of things that we've seen, and we can't deal with it. Well, of course we can't deal with it. We don't know what the hell we're dealing with it. I mean, we're dealing with guys doing the shucksters and jive on us. We're dealing with faith leaders out there, supposed faith leaders out there. They're telling us we're supposed to think and feel one way about how religion works and how our own interpretation of the metaphysical is supposed to be this way. And the grift from a lot of these guys building up their street cred, not to mention their pockets lined with gold. Saying you keep lining them up with gold, good things will happen to you. Really? That's how it's going to be this morning? I'm waiting for the next commercial break to end so I can hear about what Gen Zers or Gen Xers are supposed to be dealing with these days. Yeah, I'm hearing about the disillusion about our own lifestyles, our own time. We can't trust anything for news anymore. We can't because we keep thinking it's fake. Some people keep telling it's fake. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Some things get manufactured. Hell, we got the artificial intelligence here, and that's being manufactured left and right. So how are we supposed to deal with that one? They're bringing up the old classics that people have forgotten a long time ago. Our generation's a lot older than that. Had read books. We had read the books. Were we educated enough? We thought we were. Were we were elitists? Not really. We were survivalists. Dealing with technology increasing during those days, not to mention politics of conservative versus moderates. Oh, there we go. Lauren Joe's online this morning. If that wasn't depressing enough news, the world's going hell in a hand back into another war footing. We already got out of one. The United States did. With our own sanity, it took us about 20 some odd years to try to get it out of our system. We still have it in our system a little bit. got out of Iraq, got out of Afghanistan mostly. But now we've got the Middle East heating up worse and worse. Netanyahu, in his zeal to protect Israel, has become a warmonger. Blames Iran for triggering things, but it's going to take historians a hell of a long time just to sort it out who started what in this 2023 through current. Just how much it's going to be affecting our politics today, but also affecting our lives, not to mention everybody else around the world. Netanyahu is not going after philosophy. He's going after hardware. He's telling Iran to back off. He's had enough, and he's unleashing. But he feels empowered because the United States will give him the artillery necessary. Every time there's been missiles launched from Iran's side, and not to mention from Lebanon, defense gets weaker in Israel because they're using up everything they got to protect themselves, throwing everything in the sky, not to mention our own supplies that we're throwing in. Now the UN's sending peacekeepers, a border, trying to be a buffer zone between Lebanon and Israel at this point. How do you deal with Iran using Lebanon at this point? Maybe it is coming closer to the book of what Orwell was warning us about in 1984. We can't trust the media because they're too corporate and they'll say such things that doesn't make sense normally. So now we got a problem with the corporatized, when the millionaires and billionaires we got a problem with. But we're thinking, according to some opinions, that our country, the United States, is not going to change very much. That we're all solidified now. We're divided. We're divided in our thoughts, mannerisms. God knows what else we got going on. So, I'm waking up more and more jaundiced. It's no wonder I'm staying the hell away from the damn election cycle right now, because everybody else is going nuts. Case in point, rally out in, South Dakota. You had a few medical emergencies because of the hot weather, and it was evening, and people standing at a rally listening to Trump, not sitting down but standing up. There have been a few medical cases out there, probably because of heat prostration, heat exhaustion. And Trump switches from a question and answer to Party City. Wants music. Various music to get to people, I guess. How to sway and convince them. I love our brainwashing attitude anyway. You get them to break down their spirits, not just to siphon off the money, but basically control their will one way or another. He's got the political pundits on main media freaked because of his statements. Are they deliberate to freak people out, or does he actually mean them? And that's what's driving the thing right now, is fear. We don't need a crazy train. We already got a fear train going on. We're fearing about what's happening in the Middle East is going to be affecting us greatly more and more. We're afraid of, mostly, I think, in the college campuses, that we're going to be having another sit-in situation or another camp-out situation where we had to drag students out, put them under arrest. and then put them under the public. But this is what we're going. This is what we're doing. And we've got people out there who are depending upon word of mouth instead of, or somebody else's mouth instead of what the media, because they don't trust it. Hell, they don't even trust the independents apparently. No, actually, they'll depend upon independence, but they're not quite sure about it. My dog is up. That's why I'm like this. Mama. Morning, baby. Morning, sweetheart. You're okay, honey. You're okay. You're okay, sweetheart. Just trying to reassure her. She can barely see. Trying to get around, but she's getting around. Eventually, I gotta leave home and take care of a few things myself. I hate leaving her alone, but I'm gonna have to. Morning, sweetheart. See, my world consists of a helpless situation that's ongoing, and yet it's what I care about. If I happen to put this into a country, I don't know who the hell's going to take care of our situation. Who's going to be doing the protecting, and is the protector going to be doing a show trial on us, or actually a facade on us, or is it going to be legitimate enough? And at this point, I don't know what's legitimate or not. Too many damn interpretations over this. I raised up about 1984 not because of somebody else was bringing it up, because I'm seeing more and more of it. I got the gist of it a long time ago about the control of information. There's a war going on that they must win constantly because they're right and the other person's wrong. And it's like almost close to another writer's interpretation of how the dystopia is supposed to be. The Hunger Games, close to it. Seen the theatrical, but never read the books on that one. We're almost getting to that point. Dystopian lands, landscapes, and that's horrifying to think about. In my time, I'm seeing it happen. I mean, my own community of Rosamond is basically dystopian in itself. The haves are still screaming about their places getting robbed or harangued left and right. People are not following rules, regulations, laws, and stuff. And yet it's always happening in the haves. The have-nots, I'm saying these guys using our street for racing in the middle of the night sometimes. Motorcycles and cars. Not wide enough to do any street takeovers. Why would they? There's nothing to do out here in the first place. Except to read stuff online about how Trump is wonderful, how Trump is this. I'm seeing an orange gas bag. I mean, I'm seeing an orange gas bag deteriorating right in front of me, mentally. Or else he's really showing some mental capacity that I think it's being construed as insane, but maybe there's a form of logic in there that he's using that'll terrify everybody else that they're not willing to deal with. That's why I always have to recheck in some of my stuff is whether or not if this is correct or not. I see attack ads all the time. What else is new? In politics is always attack ads, but we're getting to the point where we're looking at ourselves. different lights. We're solidifying. We're entrapped, encamped. Polls are telling us one particular candidate, the orange gas bag, the orange face, is not suitable, and yet different people tell different things. They're not saying, well, this is what the guy said. Yeah, well, I don't believe it. How about that? You're that disconnected from reality that you can't even give me any information about this quote here? I don't know. I don't care. So that's what's happening to us. We don't care anymore. Have we lost our I know we lost our minds, but have we lost our own hearts and souls? And what does the younger generation think about us in the first place? Do they trust social media or do they trust something else? Beats the hell out of me because I don't know what they're doing. I hear my own generation griping and grumbling about a lot of things. And they're not quite sure what to think or do. You talk about disillusion this morning. I got something I still have to take care of that's also disillusioned. I got a dog looking at me in confusion again.